be a worker. Before we get started, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it's in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect this message. Amen. All honor to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. All honor to each and every one of you who are watching. Those of you who will watch this later on in the recording on YouTube, we appreciate and are thankful for your presence as well. If you're joining us on YouTube, if you're going to the YouTube channel, for those who are watching live right now, we are starting from scratch, so now's a great time to join us. All you have to do is go on YouTube and look for hashtag Find Kofi. Right? They took down the other channel. That's not stopping us. We're coming right back with information, making sure we're posting stuff on a regular basis. Just feel free to go and look for hashtag Find Kofi. Once again, I apologize. It's dark in here today. This light usually is lit from the outside, and it's raining outside, as you can hear in the background. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and close the window just in case I don't know how loud it's coming across. Right, but we want you to be in a position where we want you to be a worker, right? And give all honor once again to the Most High. Give all honor to my wife, the Honorable Bloom and Flourish. That's not A-N-D, but that's B-L-O-O-M, the letter N, F-L-O-U-R-I-S-H. You can find her on TikTok, YouTube, and her website. She's a herbalist. She's a herbalist. She's a healer. She's a chemist. She's also a biologist by degree, and she has her own business. She makes sure that she blesses people and heals people and helps us and teaches us how to be able to go through things. She's also going to be, when we start our classes, October 11th, every Friday, which would be the first class would be October 15th. She's going to start making sure that she helps to teach us, teach us on cysts this time. She just finished teaching Natural Medicine 2. We're going to be bringing Natural Medicine 1 back on Thursday, so we're excited about everything that's going on with her. And if you want to support her, I would very much so appreciate it. I love anybody who blesses my wife, but especially the fact that my wife is doing these things. So, yeah, exactly. Somebody came on here, crypto, which is weird. Crypto, I don't know if you're just saying crypto because you're into computers, but if you're into cryptocurrency, it's weird that you would do something that's decentralized so that you could make sure you don't have to job or toil for anybody else, and yet you're telling people to job and toil. So that's why we say be a worker, because a lot of people are out there saying get a job. They're mad at people like myself who don't have to job out. Their schedule is contingent upon being something for somebody else, right? Be a worker, stop begging by posting for Cash App. Yeah, this person doesn't understand I own my own land. I own multiple places of land. We're working on getting other land. I grow my own food. I'm great. I don't have mortgage, never had mortgage. I don't have to worry about car payments. That's stuff you have to worry about, right? Because you are trying to get a job. Because you mistake this right here, a J-O-B, which means to toil, right? You think that toiling is working. And they are two separate things. Now, sometimes you should toil to make sure you can do your work. Now, I did toil. I was in the United States military. I have been managed restaurants. I have worked at fast food establishments. I have done warehouse gigs. I have gone out there and still every once in a while I might do a side hustle here or there, right? But I don't toil just for the sake of toiling, because you don't really get paid long term for toiling. You get paid for your work. Now, some of you are going to keep toiling over and over and over and over and over and over again, continuing to keep on toiling, right? Even Job, or what you call Job, or job, to job out, you don't even understand the spiritual ramifications. You don't even understand why you use that word. The word Job, or the job, is coming from Job, or from Job, who toiled. So why would you put yourself in a position where you're constantly toiling when the goal should be for you to be in your work, right? I wouldn't toil for somebody who wouldn't toil for me. Well, there you go. You can talk about that, right? But we're talking about be a worker, because work is what gets you paid. Work is what your business will be in, right? Work is what your business will be in. Many people don't own their businesses. They go to somebody else's business, and you have a 9-to-5. And you toil, right? You have to make sure that you show up for muster, right? And they tell you what to do, and you toil, right? They tell you this is what you need, the clothes that you have to wear, right? And you toil, And then you look at people like myself who can be free. They don't have to worry about wearing what somebody else says. Who doesn't have to worry about conforming to a standard that somebody else gives you. That doesn't have to worry about being a 14th Amendment citizen and therefore being a false human being, being an artificial person. I'm actually a natural person. So you're a 14th Amendment citizen, or at least that mindset has you being a 14th Amendment citizen. And 14th Amendment citizenship means that the legislative branch can legislate who you are because you're not in your work, you're in your job, you toil. And many people toil, right? But being in your work, right, Aragorn, those of you who've seen the Lord of the Rings, right? A lot of people like Lord of the Rings, so let me just bring this to you because a lot of people don't know this. The term Aragorn, right, and what you saw in Lord of the Rings, is actually means work, right? And it means to work. It actually also means to become. That's why we say be a worker, become. That's what work is. See, here, you're just toiling, right? You're toiling and you're staying the same, right? No growth. In toiling, you're not supposed to grow, right? But when you work, when you Aragorn, right, then you become, right? Then you become. Real quick, because that's not really what I'm on, but if you want to answer real quick for that, somebody said, what is it that you, what did you say? Best interview question? I mean, really the best interview question if somebody's trying to do something with me is, what do you do that's bigger than yourself? That's going to be your work. Your work is greater than you, right? Your work is too big to be contained, right? Your work is too big to be contained within yourself. See, here, they want you to do nothing but just stay in your little bubble. Okay, you're coming in today. We want you to be in this place in the warehouse. We need you to make sure everything that comes out the chute, you catch it, you put a label on it, whatever, you scan it, you put it in place. That's all we need from you, right? That's a job, right? Your job coming in today, all we want you to do is make sure that you make sure the schedules are properly put out. That's all you do. We're not looking for growth. We're not looking for you to try and advance. We're not looking for you to try and do this and that. All we need from you right now is this. And if you keep toiling long enough and show that you can continue to be in debt and pay taxes and do certain things long enough, well, then the corporation, we got another spot that will raise your level a little bit higher so you can toil a little more, so you can bring a little more work home, so you can have less time with the family, so you can make sure that you homeschool a lot less, right? That's the toil, the person who toils, right? But when somebody's in their work, your work is too big for just one person to contain, right? I see you smiles, right? Like your work becomes too big to be contained. So your work causes you see, watch this. People who are in here, first thing when people come up here, get a job because they assume that because I don't look like them and because I don't have to go through the same thing that I don't have any financial gain, right? So they go, get a job so you can be like everybody else. You know, we're upset that you would dare tell people to be individuals in society that help society to grow and you do things. So you got to look like us. Where's your 9 to 5? That's what they're saying when they say get a job. Where's your 9 to 5? Why don't you make money like I say you should make money? Why don't you make money like they told us in school, like they trained you in school, like they told you to be a sheep in school, right? Why don't you muster? Why don't you show up at the exact time that we tell you to show up at, right? Even if it means less time with your family. Why are you not on somebody else's schedule? When they say get a job, they're saying, why don't you wear the clothes, right? I used to, look, you can look on stuff. I put up pictures on the Facebook page and stuff. I'll probably put some up on YouTube at some point again to kind of be like flashback in times and stuff. You can go look back. I had the 3-piece suit on and all that stuff doing stuff and everything, living the 6-figure lifestyle, you know, trying to make sure that I looked like everybody else and still wasn't getting the respect and stuff that I thought. But, you know, I lived in a really nice area, renting instead of living in just owning land and growing our own food and stuff and wishing one day I would be able to do this. I was traveling and stuff, but still living paycheck to paycheck. I know that life, right? You know, I know that life, right? 14th Amendment citizen. I used to be that. I understand what it is to make sure that you have to pay taxes because you're still living off benefits and privileges. I understand what that is. I understand what it is to toil, to work harder than everybody else, to be teaching everybody else, to be growing and yet somehow, some way think you're growing but then never get a promotion. I know what that is, right? There are people in the military right now that are running your country, right? Making decisions and representing you all over the world. And I was one of the people that taught them to do what they do, right? I understand what it is to be in a position where you feel like you don't grow, right? I know what that is, to toil. But I'm talking about being a worker, being in your work. Edagon, even from the movie. So they use the term edagon, which means work, coming from the Hebrew context of work. You know why they use this term edagon? Right? Because in the king, the king, sorry, I'm about to say the king in Lord of the Rings, the first one, Fellowship of the Ring, right? Second one, the Twin Towers. Third one, the Return of the King. It's really about development. One of the things that you're not even looking at, I know the story is really Sam and what Sam is doing for Frodo. Sam is the ultimate hero, but in the midst of this, you have this character called Edagon. And Edagon is somebody who is supposed to be this wild man in the woods and all this stuff, right? And all of a sudden, he goes from that to they start saying, oh, he's got this lineage of king in him. Like they told you about this in the movie. This is what the book, Tolkien, this is what he was talking about. Tolkien. That's what he was talking about. He was saying there's a guy that I need you to identify with when you're reading this book. And this character I want you to identify with, he's somebody who comes from royalty. He comes from a lineage, a legacy of royalty, of kings and queens, to where he shouldn't be out here in the woods just toiling away. He shouldn't be out here all the time just fighting and fighting and fighting. He shouldn't be just scrambling, hoping that he can get some stuff here or there or whatever, right? He should be somebody who is royalty, but he's separated himself from that. He's not really trying to be who he's supposed to be. He's not truly trying to be efficient when it comes to here, right? So this is what they're talking about. When they use that term, edagon, the edagon just means work. And what was he be doing? He was becoming something. He was going through a process of becoming. Was he worthy to be able to carry the sword? Was he worthy to be able? That's why they use that term. They told you this in the movie. You got to understand. They use your stuff here. They use that stuff in these movies. Just right. You got to know. Go past it, right? So he was becoming something that was too big just for himself. He could no longer just contain this legacy within himself. Now he had to get to a place where what? Okay, now I've got to become king. Like, this isn't just something I want to do, it's something I need to do. Others need me to do this. My gift is something that is too big just for myself. Others are waiting for me to become, right, to become a worker, not just somebody who toils. And a lot of people are okay with never changing anything in society, working themselves literally to death. Talking about once I get to 65, 70, then I'll be able to retire, stuff like that. Or, hey, I'll just keep working, then I retire from one gig, get another gig, and then I'll be able to get off of 2 retirements, instead of being in your work from the beginning. Right? Your work should be something you're doing from the beginning. The frequency you're talking about should be something you're doing from the beginning. But you're busy in a job. For those of you who were on the with us in the convocation, there's some things I was talking about in there, but you remember that we talked about that we wanted you to become unemployable. And for some people that sounds wild. Become unemployable? What are you talking about? Unemployable? You need to be employed to make money. No, you don't. See, watch this. This is what I want you to become, not only a worker, right? But we're going to take it just to the next level. You ready for this? I don't want you to just become a worker, right? But this is what I want you to do. I want you to become this. And this is what the Most High wants. This is what the universal law requires. The natural law requires. The laws of attraction require. This is what you have to do, right? I see you, Minister Nice. I see you. Once it says, be a worker. This is what else you've got to become. You ready? Not just be a worker. This is what I want you to do. Don't just become a worker, right? I want you to start becoming this. I want you to become a problem solver, right? You need to be a worker means you're going to have to become a problem solver, right? Which means you have to identify problems. See, you're working to solve a problem, right? That's what your work is. It's to solve a problem, and that means you have to learn how to identify problems. Right? Your work is that's what people get paid. When people have businesses, these people that have become extremely rich and wealthy and all this stuff, they identify the problem. Sometimes, watch this. Sometimes in their identifying problems, they were even what in our culture we would call, even though we kind of misuse this word, but I'm going to just put it up here. They even were a little bit what we would even deem to be prophetic. And prophecy, or being prophetic, by the way, does not mean what a lot of people mean. A lot of people think that prophecy means they only saw in the future. Prophecy, it means that whatever I'm saying, that I'm Yah's mouthpiece. Therefore, if he is eternal, I should be able to look at the past, the present, and the future, because the Most High is what? He's omnipresent. And so if I'm dealing with eternity, whatever I speak should speak to your past, your present, and your future, right? Excuse me, I'm going to open this window up. I need a little air. But it should speak to your past, it should speak to your present, and it should speak to what? To your future as well. So is the problem that you're solving something that reaches out to your past, your present, and future? Because if it doesn't, you're limiting what you're supposed to become and what your business is supposed to become. Sorry. What you're supposed to become and what your business is supposed to become. All right? You're trying to solve problems. You're trying to solve problems, right? What problem is there for you to solve? That's your work. Your work is, there's a problem out there that nobody else can handle except me. All right? That's what your problem is or that's what you're looking for, is a problem that nobody can handle but you. I see you're seeing on and solve it. I'm trying to really quickly go through these things. There's so many people on. We appreciate you. I'm trying to hit comments, but keep them coming. I don't know how many I'm gonna be able to hit, so I apologize, especially because I have to turn around. But we're trying to solve problems, which means I have to identify a problem. What is the problem that you've identified in the earth that needs your watch this, your gift, right? Some people might say your calling, right? Your gift, calling, and people don't even know, but also calling, when we talk about what the Bible means, when it talks about to be called, it's actually talking about what you've been invited to do. Something in the universe, something on this planet, something in nature is deficient. When we're talking about identifying a problem, there's a deficiency. And forgive me, I don't know if I'm going to spell this right. I'm often spell this word wrong. I think I got it. Not sure if I got it or not, but so forgive me if that's misspelled. But there's a deficiency. There's a deficiency that's there, right? And you are invited to be able to look at the past, the present, and the future in a prophetic manner and identify how you, as a person invited, can use your work to solve the deficiency. Okay, so I got it right. Yeah. That's what you've been invited to do. You are a worker who's been called to solve a problem, make sure that you can identify in a prophetic manner, meaning with something to look at what's happened in the past, look at what's happening now, look at what's going to therefore be needed in the future to be able to take care of this deficiency using what you've been invited to do through your gift, or what we would call your calling. Right? Be a worker. This is what workers get paid for. Workers get paid because they solve problems. Right? I give you guys just a few more seconds. If you need to take a screenshot or something, right? If you're taking notes, you have to write fast. I'm about to erase this, okay? In 5, take a screenshot. 4, 3, or go on the YouTube channel later when we post it later on through the day. 2, 1. All right, I'm going to erase it, okay? So, see, people think that they need to be job out or to toil, right? But people get paid. You get paid because you solve problems. People tune in to me because I solve problems. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know about my legal right for this. How do I go about starting the process for this? What do I do for this? And I simply am in a position because I've developed my gift or my calling. I've developed my gift so that I can solve problems, right? Right? Yeah, I am skilled, right? But I am skilled in problem solving. I'm skilled in what my gift is. I found the gift. I found the calling first. And once I took what I was invited to do, then I developed it. A lot of people have a lot of skills, right? A lot of people cannot problem solve because you have skills, right? But you don't have gifts. Or you don't, or gift, you know, even the word they use when people talk about the Greco-Roman nature of things, but they use gift, the word gift is talking about charis or charisma, who you are, the very thing, right? So a lot of people don't know who you are, right? And if you don't know who you are, then how are you going to know what you're supposed to do? Who you are is going to help determine what you're supposed to do, right? We're talking purpose now, and we're talking vision, right? And we live by here. Y'all know on SOC, people know we live by VPV, vision, purpose, and value. I'm sorry. And value, right? VPV, right? VPV, vision, purpose, and value, right? We talking vision, purpose, and value. Vision is what you do, is what you see afar off. That's the blueprint, right? Oh, okay. Bonjour. Somebody's here from Français. Bonjour, I don't know if you've been on before, so je suis content de te voir. Ça va? Hopefully everything's well. Like, so, you see, oh my goodness, I just messed up. Anyways, let me get myself back in order. So, vision, purpose, and value. Vision, purpose, and value. Right? So, if you have skills, right? If you have skills, then right? A lot of people have skills, right? But they don't what? They only have skills, but they don't know who they are. And so here you are trying to problem solve. You're developing all these skills. So some of you have the skills where you can type 200 words per minute, right? But what if that's not who you are, right? What if that's not your work? Some of you are able to build homes, right? But what if your work is that you're supposed to make sure that you feed people, right? Some of you have skills that you develop because you're like, well, I'm a great chef. You know, I should be a chef. I can cook better than what all these people do on television. However, you know, baby's got to eat. So I'm going to go to work and work this 9 to 5, right? I'm going to work this 9 to 5 and work this 9 to 5 and work this 9 to 5, right? And therefore, I'm going to make sure that they can eat. And my stove, I'm not even going to make sure that I'm feeding. I'm going to go out and get something to eat on the way home all the time. I'm not even going to cook at home. Now, those who are on in Europe and other places, that's probably something you do a lot less than what Americans do. However, a lot of people go outside of their gift, right? And here you are, though, the very thing, if you would sacrifice, right, and start pouring into your gift and who you are, right, you could use the skills that are paying the bills, so to speak, use that money to sow into the gift. All right, I'm making this, I'm going to cut back on some things I don't need, and I'm going to focus on making sure that I work on my own cookbook. It might take me 2, 3, 4, 5 years of dedication, but I'm going to work on that cookbook, because if people were ever able to taste a little bit of what I have to offer, man, they would be amazed, and they would just sow into me, and they would what? They would, because they're buying the cookbook because they can't do what you do, at least not without your help. So you're solving their problem of not being able to do what you do, and that's what's going to get you paid, right? That's how a worker thinks, and a lot of us are not workers, right? A lot of us are not trying to be workers out here, and so because we're not workers, we're basically living as people who job. People who job don't think about where am I headed. They don't think about what I need to do every day to get there, and then they don't value it as far as even when everybody else is asleep, I'll value it and do it. Even when nobody else thinks that I can make it, I'll still keep on pushing. Even when nobody else is able to get to the next level, I'll make sure that it happens. Why? Because a lot of people don't live by this. They're not workers. They're people who are in jobs. That's why, once again, the most dangerous person, right, on this app, in your life, whatever, the most dangerous person is a person who comes on and first things first, they say, because you don't look like me, they say, get a job, not realizing that because I don't have a job is the reason why I'm not in the same situation you're in, to where I don't have to toil, right? And the fact that I'm a worker, I actually work harder than the person who toils. The person who has a job only toils to be able to, or has a job mindset at least, they only toil to get them to make sure that they get past work, then they go home and sleep to repeat the process. When that person's going home to sleep to get ready, I'm still up working. Right? I'm still up working. Like, I had to get up and study before this. So before everybody else even got up, I was already up studying. Right? Right? So people who are just getting up, listening to this on their way to work, whatever, like, I was already up before. Right? The sun didn't show up, but or it's because of the clouds and you can hear the rain in the background, but guess what? I still was up and I still was risen as if it was sunrise, as if I needed to be basking in the sun the way I do every day. I was still grinding. Before the average person goes and gets ready for their job, I'm already in my work. I already prayed up. My first prayer is not what you guys are going to hear, right? My first prayer is not what you guys are going to hear or heard today, or we'll hear later on when we come back on 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. Like I was already in my work. I was already before the Most High. I was already in my meditation. I was already flowing, right? I was already listening to other people who I consider to be the gurus and I consider to be my masters, my teachers. Right? I was already in that. I was already trying to figure out and praying, hey, what is the problem that I need to solve, right? I'm sorry, I just made it worse probably, but whatever. What is the problem that I need to solve? I was already in that mode. Right? So somebody else just catches up talking about get a job. Yeah, you're just getting started for your day. I've been in my work. When you were asleep last night, I was in my work. When you were sitting up there and trying to figure out what to do or just saying I need quiet to go to sleep, I was listening to people who were speaking things and studying what they were saying until finally I fell into sleep. And then I woke up still 5 o'clock a.m. Eastern New York time because I'm always in my work. And that's really late for me. I used to get up even earlier than that when I'm trying to get back into the habit of doing so, right? But I'm already in my work, right? Give me till 5 at 5 o'clock a.m. I already got certain things that I'm doing, certain habits that I'm performing. You hear what I'm saying? Listening to gospel music, that could be helping you to get into your work, whatever it is. I'm just saying, a lot of people don't have the situation where they're thinking from somebody who has a job rather than somebody who's a worker. A worker looks for problems to solve. Your problem is that you keep looking for jobs, right? This is what you've been looking for jobs. From now on, right? You might need a job for now to help you to get into your work. That should be your focus. If you get the job so that it will help you to get into your work. But you've been looking for jobs. From now on, start looking for problems. See, the problem is many people run to jobs and run from problems. I need you to reverse it. I need you to run to problems and run away from jobs. Right? I need you to stop running to problems or to jobs, right, which are problematic, and running away from solving problems, which will mean that there'll be no more problematic issues. I want you to start running towards the problems to solve them, getting away from the problematic systematic oppression that you're in, right, and run away from the jobs that cause you to still be in systematic and systemic oppression. You're running towards the jobs. And watch this. When you're only running towards jobs, when your mindset is only on jobs, you know what's going to happen to you? When you're only thinking about jobs only, this is what happens to you. When you're looking at just getting the job only, it means that you haven't planned for the future. But when you're looking at focusing on problems and solving them, right? Not just focusing on them for the sake of focusing on them, that's toiling, right? But focusing on solving problems. When you become a problem solver, as we talked about earlier, you know what happens? You start focusing on eternity. Did you catch that? Problem solvers focus on things that are too big for themselves, because when you try to solve problems, you try to solve something that's been a plague in the past, the present, and the future. You're trying to become somebody who's going to make sure that you're the first in your family to do X, Y, Z. That means you're focusing on breaking generational curses and making sure that nothing's going to happen to your family in the future. You're solving past, present, and future things. People who focus on jobs really don't have future plans. This is why a lot of people get, I'm not saying this is 100%, there can be exceptions to every rule, right? But let's just be real. How many people get to the end of their lives, right? Get all the way up to the end of their jobs, rather, because their jobs are their lives, really. Get up to the end of their jobs, and then they retire, and then say, man, I don't know what I'm going to do now. then end up going back to another job or the same job after they retired, after they got that watch and were told, hey man, it's great that you were here. Thank you so much for your 50, 60 years of service, your 40 years of service. We appreciate you so much. Let's have a party real quick. Okay, thank you. And, there's the door. And then they get home. Maybe they do some vacation, things like that, but they're like, man, I don't feel satisfied. Something's still missing. I thought this was it. I worked my whole life. I thought this was it. It's like I'm reminded, I can't remember the name of the person, but there's a guy, I think he actually goes around, at least in the past he did, went around to different churches and stuff, and he used to speak. And I caught him somewhere. I can't remember where. It was somewhere in Virginia. I can't remember what his name was. He used to play for the Washington football team. And he was saying, and this is years ago, so this is back when they had the offensive name. And he was saying that he basically won the Super Bowl. And, everybody starts reacting. Some people crying, certain things like that. He said he saw the confetti falling from the sky, right? And he saw the confetti falling from the sky. And he was like, man, everybody, he was crying, and he was just sitting in the middle of the field, and he was looking at the confetti fall down. And he said that he started crying. He was sad. Now, nobody really noticed it because people just assume that everybody's so happy, and maybe you're so happy that you're crying, right? But he was crying, he was sad. He said that he had finally won. He had worked his whole life from childhood, right? You playing pee-wee football and all that stuff. You're playing through elementary school, junior high school. You got to go to college. You go through the pro game. You got to get all these surgeries. You're breaking, and your body breaks down. You get all these injuries. He finally had won the Super Bowl, though, right? And he was like, yes, I finally won the Super Bowl. And then it hit him. Is this it? He was like, is this it? Like, basically, like, I went through this, I won the Super Bowl. He was like, I still got to get up tomorrow. He said to himself, is this it? Think about that, right? And a lot of people do that in life. Working and working, breaking yourself down, jobbing out, toiling, making somebody else millions of dollars, and you're happy because you get $20 an hour and this and that or whatever. And you go through all this stuff, and then you say to yourself, is this it? Right? Yeah, everybody should be persuaded, but persuasion means that if you look up the word persuaded, right? Because even Paul says in the Bible, for I am persuaded. Persuasion, when you look up the word persuasion or the word to be persuaded or the term to be persuaded, whatever, you'll basically discover that to be persuaded means that you have gone through the process of looking at something over and over and over again through life. It's not just okay, somebody told you something. No, you've gone through some experience. And because of that experience and what you've been told and doing some study and stuff for yourself, you are now persuaded that this is what you believe to be true. So if I'm giving something that's persuading people or that is persuasive coming from my point of view, it would be because of study and living life and being somebody who doesn't have to job out, but and can, if I do feel like like I told you before, if I want a little extra, I might get a little part-time here or there every once in a while for a limited time here or there. But I don't have to job out to anything. And even when I do, I don't have to pay taxes because I don't have to be part of what other people have told, because I understand how to make sure that I am a natural person, not an artificial person. So because of my lifestyle, because of the things I've gone through, I am persuaded. So if that comes off as persuasive, then yeah. Right? But I'm somebody who knows etymology just as well as you. That was a good catch by you. So I would say make sure apologetically that you're in a place where you comprehend what somebody's saying rather than just assuming because of a few words that you know what they're saying, right? But I am persuaded. Yeah, I am persuaded through life experience, through other people's life experience, through people who write the law, through people who said we need to come out of these things, through people who are not even believe in the Most High, who still say that we need to come out of these things. I'm persuaded that I shouldn't job out anymore and make sure that I'm in a place to where I don't know, I'm not thinking about something that's bigger than myself. I am persuaded, right? And there's nothing that will separate me from that action, the actions that come from being persuaded by that have caused my family and I to be in a position to where we can travel as we need to not have to worry about driving like most of you do because we travel, to not worry about having to be stuck in an institution that doesn't even tell you there's a such thing as a W-8BEN, rather than just have you signing W-2s, W-4s, W-9s, 1099s, the list goes on and on and on, right? I'm off the grid somewhat, but being on the grid or off the grid doesn't even matter, because if you're in a certain place as far as making sure you're not a 14th Amendment citizen and you don't live off of benefits and privileges by the government, it doesn't matter what you on or off, right? So wherever my foot treads, like, it's mine legally. even by this system called the Republic of the United States of America. You're in the system, though, the United States Constitution, or I'm not sure, I don't want to assume, but those who are in that system, that means that you can't think like that, or you can't live like that. You have to go by it, right? That's why we're trying to tell you that you need to look for problems, and it's very problematic being in the U.S., being in the corporation of the United States. That's very problematic. It stops you, it holds you back from some things, right? It's very problematic if somebody kills somebody in your family. I was just talking with somebody the other day trying to do legal. You're trying to come up with some legal, give legal advice. Or really, I wouldn't say it's legal advice, right? I legally don't give legal advice, but just giving some things that are based off of some facts and some things that are read for them to read. And we're going through things and stuff like that to help them to get ready for a situation that they may or may that in the future take certain route and leave that there, but people not knowing some of this stuff as far as looking for problems to solve. This person had a problem, and what did they do? They were asking, and we just looked at certain things that help us to solve problems, rather than jobbing out, or rather than being like, we're just in the system, what are we going to do? Or waiting for somebody else to be able to say that something is right or not. These are things that we can do. That is in the law. Black's Law Dictionary says this. The United States says this. The United States of America says this. And what is it that you can do as far as this? What are the rights of the people that you're going to be going against? Do you understand that the case is in itself going to be a trust, right? And therefore, the judge will be the trustee, and that there's going to be a beneficiary. And forgive me, I'm forgetting the third title of the other person right now, but basically you got the judge, you got the beneficiary, or you got the trustee, you got the beneficiary, you got the other person on the other side. You're dealing with the trust. You're dealing with the situation where you've got to go through these things to be able to figure out what's going to happen, right? Thank you very much. I appreciate the love, and we appreciate the likes. Thank you for helping us with the algorithm. We appreciate all that. Is that distant, right? So thanks for being on, right? But that's people who toil. Right, when we have a toil mindset, we're going by being in a mindset where we have to toil. When we have an eternal mindset of problem solving, right, then it means that when a problem comes to us, I don't sit there and be like, man, I don't know what to do with this. Even if I don't necessarily know fully, I know enough because of being in a system where we solve problems to be like, well, how do we solve these problems based off of what? Past, present, future, off of the past. What has been in the past? What's the precedent that's set? What case study is there out there about these laws and these cases that we're going into? Presently, this is what we can do now so that in the future we can get the outcome of showing them the truth. And when we show them the truth, legally, every truth comes with stipulation. So now, once we show that this is the truth, we're demanding, right, as sovereigns and as natural persons, we're demanding now that once we give you this truth, this is the stipulations we give. You will give us this, you will fire this person, you will get this person in trouble, we'll put a lien on this, and you're going to give us your property because you messed up, blah, blah, blah. Right? These are things that we can do because I'm in my work, I'm a worker, I problem solve. I don't focus on jobs to where I don't have future plans and where I'm scared stuck on something and just being like, hey, well, they've been saying a house, white picket fence, 2.5 children, so if I cover those bases, I'll be successful. Nope, I'm about doing something that's greater than that, right? Bill Gates, who, you can have whatever opinion about him, and by the way, I'm not necessarily a fan of him and what he does to people all over the world, right? Not just even with the stick. I'm talking about even besides that. Look at what him and Bill and Melinda Gates, just like Bill and Hillary Clinton with their foundation, all these people. A lot of these people in poor countries do not like these people as much as they want you to believe so, right? But whether you like it or not, Bill Gates is somebody who was a problem solver. Now, he's trying to get you to stay and be in a job, which means he's a slave owner, right? He's a slave master. He's a master, which is a teacher, and he's trying to teach you how to be what? A slave. Trying to be a slave for him, right? And people like him. Right, but he became a problem solver. When Bill Gates was in school, they basically said Bill Gates was somebody who we would say has ADD, right? But Bill Gates said when he was in school, the reason why he couldn't focus is because he felt like the teacher was always behind him, right? So he said that he went through school always being told that he was problematic or that he needed to be counted as somebody who was slow or this and that. But the reality is that the teacher would be teaching things and he'd be like, man, this is stuff I'm past. So just like a lot of young boys and young girls all over the world, right? So he grew up, went to school, said, you know what, man, this school thing, this college thing really isn't all that. Went to Microsoft no, who did he go to first? I forget which company he went to first, but went to all these different companies and then including Microsoft and said, hey, I got this idea for being able to use this as far as software and hardware. More so hardware than the software because Jobs is really more so, Steve Jobs is more so the person that dealt with the software and got us to where we are with software. But Gates, kind of dabbled in both, but was more focused in the hardware. He said, I got this idea. This is what's going to happen. We're going to be able to do this. Companies looked at him, man, we can't, man, you crazy. Take big computer. Like, computers are supposed to fill warehouses. You trying to put stuff in a room, trying to put stuff in a little box and trying to do this and that or whatever. And now guess what? The same person that they said, right, didn't fit into what they thought he should be. They didn't think about the future. The person who was looking at things from the past, present, and future perspective is the person that now you bow down to. If you're going to work in the industry, you're going to have to work for me in some way, shape, or form. If you're in the government, people who work for the government right now can attest to this, right? If you really know how stuff goes down, because I have family members and have had family members, including my own queen, who used to work in government in high positions, right? And I'm talking about high positions in places where they're making law, right? And telling you where money's going and this and that or whatever. And guess who gets pretty much all the contracts for everything, and nothing really runs, right? Without Microsoft. Microsoft, you have to go through Microsoft to be able to use stuff. And if you use, but here's another thing that's interesting too. So the cloud and everything, guess who has the cloud? Apple. Apple, Microsoft, who you think are such enemies and this and that, whatever, the government doesn't work without either both of them coming to agreement on how your stuff is going to be shared. Right? And we don't know this because we're in a position of job, and the government that you serve, their job. That's why they're limited in what they can do. That's why your government officials are called what? They're called public servants. They're called public servants, right? If you're if they have to serve who? Their masters, and you don't recognize that you're their masters because we're not problem solvers, right? 14th Amendment citizens think that the government gives you rights. No, you have rights. The government makes laws, but laws are supposed to protect rights. And if they're not giving you laws that protect rights, then they are not doing what they're supposed to do as servants. And you have a right to be able to go to them and mandate that they do what you tell them to do. But if you're a 14th Amendment citizen, part of the corporation, then you don't, as far as they're concerned, your plans don't matter because a corporative, understand, a corporation by law is even considered to be a person. So if you belong to a corporation, that means the person, the United States, that's the corporation, right? Remember, you can look up, if you need to look up what I'm talking about to see the definition of what the corporation is, look up 3002. Is it, I'm messing up. Is it 15? I believe it's 15A, right? 3002, 15 alpha. And when you go look that up, you will discover that it will tell you the definition, first part definition is like A, B, and C to that, but the A definition is going to say it's a corporation. If you do some more research, the corporation is located in Washington, D.C. The corporation is not a country, it is a person, right? You got to be careful with corporations. A corporation is a person. So if a corporation is a person and you belong to the Corporation of the United States, those of you who have said what? I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the person, not the Constitution of the United States of America, the actual 50 states or 50 countries that come together, because you've jobbed out, right, to this corporation, you support and defend their Constitution, which means that you belong to a corporation, a person. A corporation is a person legally. So if a corporation is a person, it shouldn't be that way, but I'm telling you by their law that they've twisted, a corporation is a person. So therefore, if you're working for a corporation, you're working for a person, right? If you're a person who has to do whatever another corporation tells you to do, or if you're a person who has to do whatever a person tells you to do, then you would be considered to be a slave. 14th Amendment says that you're allowed to be a slave to the corporation. You job out. But people who problem solve, they are eternal creatures, and eternal creatures have rights. And so therefore, if I come into somebody who is sovereign, if I come into the presence of somebody, this is why they don't like it when your government officials or people running for positions, when people start yelling stuff out at the crowd. Like, listen to what these people in the crowd are saying, right? They start getting all twitchy and this and that, and then they try to act like they got to defend themselves or whatever, but the person still will say some things to them. You know why the person says some things to them? The person says stuff because what they're really saying is, yo, I am a natural person. You are an artificial person that belongs to somebody else. You are a servant, and that person, and you are a servant. You are a slave. You are limited. You are a public servant, and therefore, as a public servant, you will listen to me because I am a master. I am my own person, right? Because I'm a problem solver. You're trying to keep problems. You don't have any future plans to take problems away. That's why your debt gets worse and worse and worse. They don't have anything to solve your problem up there. If you're going to solve their debt problem, you need to become sovereign so that you can write off debt. In other words, so that you can discharge debt. You keep trying to pay off debt. There's no money anyways, because money, the only thing that's legally money is gold and silver or bonds or something like that. They don't have any gold and silver. So your cash is trash. When they tell you cryptocurrency, you shouldn't get it. It's wild when they say that because their cash is worse than cryptocurrency. That's why one Bitcoin is worth like what is it up to 50,000 again now? 50,000 plus. At one point it was worth 60,000. So you're telling me that one coin is worth $50,000, yet somehow, some way, your dollar that it takes 50,000 of to make a Bitcoin is something that is worth more than the Bitcoin itself? No, that don't make no sense, right? The reality is both of them aren't even real money. We're not getting cryptocurrency because it's real money. We're getting cryptocurrency because it's decentralized. That's why you want cryptocurrency. That's why the richest people on earth are getting cryptocurrency, because it's decentralized. At least certain ones of it. You got to do your study. Right? Money is not real if you don't have gold or silver to back it up. That's why they're using your birth certificate and your social security number to back it up, because they don't have any money. So when they go to the Federal Reserve and when the country goes further into debt and they keep asking for more money, why would you keep, if somebody's getting close to, I'm sorry, what are you guys now, $28 trillion in debt? If you $28 trillion in debt, think about this now. I want you to think about this. If you're $28 trillion in debt and you go back to the Federal Reserve asking for money, why would the Federal Reserve keep giving you the right to print out money unless they knew that you had something that was of more value? What is of more value? The human being. The human being, the birth certificate, the taxes, all those things, they just simply job you out. And your people who are coming, they say, hey, more people are going to be born, and so we're asking for these amount of people that are going to be born. We're asking that you go ahead and let us use their birth certificate to get money. The Federal Reserve says, yep, we speak that language. You're exactly right. No problem. That's worth value. Okay, no problem. You can go further into debt. So you guys can become slaves to us as they become slaves to you. You'll give us some of your slaves, right? We'll job them out. They'll toil. No future plans of changing that. But when you say, I'm going to get out of that system, now I start discharging debt. Now I don't have to pay taxes. Now I don't have to pay taxes even when I'm working for somebody else. Right? When I'm working for somebody. See, you guys, W-2, W-4, W-9, 1099, you're jobbing for somebody else. W-8-BEN, you're working for somebody else. Now I'm problem solving. And because of that, now I discharge debt. See, for you, debt is a problem. So you got to figure out how to pay debt. You got to figure out how to keep toiling in debt. And by definition, a slave is in debt. A debt is a slave, right? But when you can discharge debt, I look for debt, right? I look for debt. Oh, you going to? Oh, I look for a home. Oh man, that home is only it's gonna cost me tens of thousands to be able to build that home up, but I can own that property right there. Like that home, nobody wants it, but I can own that property right there, and I can buy it for $5,000. Nobody, you think that's trash? Okay, I look for that because everybody else doesn't want to build that up. I can buy that $5,000 property, build that up, and now I can rent that out to somebody. I can grow food on that, right? So these are the things that are happening. But we're going to talk more about that. That's why I say you got to take the classes and stuff like that. Like when you do these lives, I'm not going to be able to teach all this stuff in just a quick live session, right? So that's why we offer the classes for dirt cheap, right? And literally dirt cheap. We do not give them, we basically give them out for donation technically, right? Right? But this is, you've never even seen that. Nobody even told you that. You've been working your whole life. You've been jobbing your whole life. And nobody ever told you that you could get that right there. W-8-BEN. Nobody even said that to you, right? But you have to be considered to be sovereign first. You can't be a United States citizen and get this, because it is something that it's going to say, when you get this, what you're saying is I don't belong to the United States. In other words, you're going to be saying I'm a foreign citizen, because you are. You're not a citizen of the United States Corporation. You're a citizen of the United States of America. You have to change that first before you can then ask for the W-8-BEN. Right? So go look up what that is and just read it. And what you discover is they're saying that people who are foreign from here have a right to file for this. So you don't even know that there are people who come from other countries who live here and work here, and they make way more money than you. You try to figure out why, and they say, oh, it's because you're lazy, this and that, or whatever. No. They get W-8-BENs. They get to keep their money, their tax money, because they're foreign citizens. You're supposed to help the stranger. The Bible says it. This is why I say, even when people think that, okay, I don't believe in the Bible, I don't like the Bible, this, that, or whatever, fine. Even if you don't believe in it, study it, because they're using biblical law. They're perverting it, but they're using biblical laws. That's why you got to have two witnesses. That's why if you're a United States citizen, you're a slave, you're in debt. But if you're free from debt, wherever your foot treads, it shall be yours. Like this is why this is why they wear the priestly robes, all this stuff, right? They understand that people who are foreign, they're in the world, they're in the system. The word world means system. You don't know this, but the word world means system. So they're in the system. However, they're not of it. They don't have to follow that same thing. So they come here, and you think that people are lazy, talking about somebody came from Europe and came over here and did that. They didn't have to pay taxes. They don't have to pay them right now. If they come here knowing this, all they got to do is get this. They don't have to pay taxes. you see, but nobody told you because they wanted you to be a job. They didn't want you to be a worker. They didn't want you to solve problems. So that's what we're here to do, to solve problems. I am literally a minute away from being overtime. So we thank you. We appreciate the king and queen in each and every one of you. Thank you for being on. We're on every day, 8 a.m. Eastern in New York time. We're on every evening, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern in New York time. Those that are interested in taking classes starting October 11th. Well, let's do it like this. This upcoming Sunday evening at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, my wife and I will be on together to do our special do our special session. So we invite you to that. October 1st, we're going to start making sure that we do Yah's Land Project 83 for those who are interested in helping us to secure land by the end of next year, so we can start doing stuff as a community and having a place that's dirt cheap to be able to live on. Forgive me for using the term dirt cheap. I need to come up with a better term. October 1st also is our first Friday of the month, which means that Friday we're asking you to go out into your communities, find somebody to be a blessing to, and do something, whether it's just for somebody who's on the street, somebody in your family who needs some help, needs some provision, whatever it is. October 8th, October 11th, the week of October. So let's do it like this. October 1st, we talked about October 6th. It's going to be my born day. So thank you guys. I'll probably be on in the morning, but I probably won't be on in the evening. And probably won't be answering questions on that day. October... whoever asked for the session for Zoom, the special session we do online. So it'll be live for you guys to be able to hear. October, what was I'm looking for? October 11th, right? I think. October 11th, the week of October 11th, we're going to start our classes. Monday is going to be marriage. Tuesdays is going to be, Mondays are going to be, and these are going to be on Zoom only. Mondays will be on marriage. Tuesdays will be on monarchy. Wednesdays on sovereignty. Thursdays on natural medicine 1. Fridays on cysts. Saturdays on Hebrew characters. Starting the week of October 18th, we'll be making sure that we do our Zoom sessions at 6:45 a.m. Eastern, going from 6:45 a.m. Eastern to 7:45 a.m. Eastern, specifically just Bible only. So join us for that. We'll have the link ready for that very soon. And then on October 30th, we'll have our Brothers in Black, where we want all our brothers to come out. If you can, wear black in solidarity one of another. Ladies, you can of course join us. Children, you can join us as well. We'll have 3 brothers trying to giving you very dynamic messages, probably about 20 minutes or so a piece, and then that's all we have until the month of November. Ladies, prepare. Women in Red is coming up in December. My wife has already started making sure she's getting things together, so we're excited, we're thankful, we're appreciative for that. I got to double check the schedule. I believe somebody's supposed to be on this. I believe it's supposed to be my wife that's going to be on this Saturday for Shabbat Shalom on the podcast. Then the next Saturday, I believe, is supposed to be Sister Tamara. Then the Saturday after that, I believe, is supposed to be Minister Anais. And then the Saturday after that is supposed to be Minister Kevin, I think. But we're trying to get them to start getting ready and used to be doing some of these lives and things like that. We just got to work out how to get them on some of these platforms as well. Check out all the information. We do have a place where you can go ahead and send donations. There's other places you can send donations as well. You can look up hashtag Find Kofi if you're looking for the YouTube channel or just how to find us in general. Also, too, don't forget that you can go to find out more about us, what we're about, Kofi-Ofori.com, KOFI-OFORI.com, which we're always updating. So I'm constantly trying to catch up. We're looking at trying to get these audio books out to you guys very soon. And also, too, my son's channel is going to be coming out soon, too. So we're excited about that, where he can talk to children on his level and be able to show some fun things that you can just do as a child, but also speak on some real things concerning the Word. And lastly, we're also looking, let's see. And lastly, you can text us for any other information further. You can also text us at 202-599-7312. Again, that's 202-599-7312. Again, I say 202-599-7312. Last time, that's 202-599-7312. So the son that's getting ready to do the YouTube channel, he is 6. So he's got a word on his level. We're looking at putting out some stuff out there as far as cartoons and different things for children to be able to see and learn about the word as well. So, but we thank you. We appreciate you. As always, please follow my wife, the Honorable Maya. She's Bloom and Flourish. You can follow her on TikTok and YouTube. Not A and D, but the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. So we're excited, thankful, grateful for her. So continue to look out for her platform, support her and her endeavors as she supports the community and heals our community with tinctures and plant life and eating life and habits and all these great things. And thank you. I'm going to take my leave. And those who join us tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, we look forward to seeing you again. If you're joining us tomorrow at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern New York time, we shall see you very soon as always. This has been Pastor Kofi, aka the Shadow Band One, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken, until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility even of being in front of you all again. Please remember as always that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, we shall be the reason this world changes for the better. Bare minimum will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom.